All right, welcome to Roll With It, your go-to podcast for all things cannabis. We're your hosts, Julie Stevens and Brittney Guthrie, bringing you our unfiltered perspectives about industry trends and cannabis culture today. That's right, we are exploring the world of cannabis with leading industry experts, celebrity guests, and distinguished stoners. So grab your weed, grab your snacks, and let's roll with it. Ooh, okay. Right. Today we are sitting with some really esteemed industry leaders. Garrett, he's a neuroscientist and also the chief scientist at Natural Rem. And then we are honored to be sitting here with the founder and CEO of Natural Rem topical line as well. So thank you so much, guys, for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear a little bit about how you guys got connected and what inspired Natural Rem. And we're going to deep dive into the formulations and everything that makes it special. But, Nameer, maybe you can start a little bit and just
I can. Yeah,
tell me how you began.
Natural was founded in 2019. I spent a lot of my time in the U.S. in the past 10 years, in different markets. One thing we noticed a lot was there was a lot of topicals. There was a focus on CBD, but a lot of people were paying attention to the other ingredients that were in the product. So we went after getting a natural product with natural ingredients that's transdermal, and just bringing a quality product to market compared to what's out there now.
Yeah.
One of the things that all our products are is full spectrum. While the products in the market now are CBD isolate, and Garrett can get into more of the science behind that. But we're really excited. We have a roll-on, a 1-to-1 cream and massage oil right now in the market, and then now we're about to launch our first 2 transdermal patches. So we have our CBD pouch, and we have a 1-to-1 Natural Rem CBD pouch as well.
Very cool. Okay, I'm just going to hold that up to the camera. May I see that for a moment?
Go for it.
So what's the process of getting a transdermal patch made?
Yeah.
Like, where do you begin with this?
Yeah. So with the stuff that we do, we have, patches sort of developed already with patch developers in different places, in particular, this one, United States, San Diego. And they had the patch developed to the specs that we need. So we had these reservoir patches where basically there is adhesive all around in the center, sort of a donut, center, the matrix where you can add the patch reagent containing the cannabinoids, the cannabis oil. And so these types of patches have been around for a while. They're pretty much like Band-Aids, hypoallergenic, water resistant, waterproof. You can put them on, go swimming. I've used them, in the shower, going, working out, and no problem, with them on. We have them for 96 hours on there. And so what it provides is initial sort of burst and localized in the area, and then sort of continuous sort of long-term, drip over those 4 days. And so it provides localized relief in a way that's a route of administration you really don't get with many cannabis products really at all, which is localized relief as opposed to global systemic relief, which sometimes you need. You can put THC there, and actually these types of patches aren't meant to get you high. They're really meant to be used for, let's say, if you have localized back pain or shoulder pain or something like that, and target the pain through cannabinoid activation, signaling, and also inflammation.
Okay. So just to clarify, these patches are specifically for a localized pain. So that means like just a small section rather than taking an oil or something orally where it's just sort of absorbed throughout the body.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And complementary to that. So you can use it with other things. So the idea is that you can really get high amounts of these cannabinoids targeted to where they need to be for certain types of relief, of localized pain relief. And you can also do that systemically and where pain is felt in the brain, and that will also affect you systemically in that area. But this allows you really to get highly localized amounts. And the way things are formulated, these are meant to be surrounded by other types of plant oils so that they, after going through the epidermal and dermal skin layers, they are then trapped sort of with these fat cells and fat soluble areas before really significant penetration in the bloodstream. So that allows them to really work in a localized manner and provide that relief with pain, inflammation, signaling mechanisms.
Gotcha.
That is very interesting because you know what? I actually use topicals for my shoulder.
Yes.
So like this is amazing information to have because I have a spot in my shoulder that would probably be perfect for that.
100%.
Also just I work in a cannabis store as well, and having the older crowd come in looking for stuff specifically like this. I honestly like I can't wait to have that.
It makes a
Well-
huge difference. I think being able to have different modalities, and especially individuals when you don't necessarily want to be high all the time, you need to have relief though still in that area. So you can have that constant relief and use other cannabis products as you normally do, but it provides that relief. And so you're not dependent upon always the psychoactive effects coupled with the pain relief and being able to separate those two in some ways.
Yeah, when it comes to the cream compared to a patch, you're not constantly reapplying the cream, right?
And now
You
I was
just put it on if you're going to the gym or whatever you're doing. If it's nice that it just sits there and not have to worry about it, right?
How many hours do these last?
Those are for 96 hours. So those
Holy
are
crap.
up to 4 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they provide, and people have used them. We've had in parallel patches and other markets that groups you work with have had, longer than that, but the people who really enjoy it, about 96 hours relief and allows, in these types of products, we have 2 patches in there. And so there actually is about a week's worth of relief here and pain relief with what you're doing. So that is sort of the way that patients just think about it, look at it when they would look at bio here. This is a week basically, about 8 days worth of relief, for the medicine that I'm delivering here. And these are delivered in this case with the CBD. Each one has 60 milligrams of CBD per patch. And so it's a pretty significant dose that you're doing of a full spectrum CBD.
Gotcha. Interesting. How big are the patches?
The exact specs are here. They're 50 centimeters around.
Compared to an actual regular.
So how big? Like
about this big.
okay, about that big. And what is the circumference of the actual localized pain that it's relatively going to treat?
Yeah, so the localized pain relief, so the patch itself is about this big. The localized pain relief is about this big that you'd have. So it'd be a cone of area about that big that would then radiate out, from there. So it'd be a slow, localized relief of about an area that starts right there. So if you look at the center of the patch, there's an area that's about, that big, that you're treating. And then that sort of is a cone of relief that spreads out as it diffuses.
Around, yeah.
Okay, so like it's gonna actually spread out throughout the back.
A little bit.
Exactly.
A little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but still you're gonna put that right on the knot.
More or
Right
less.
on the
if you
pain
want-
point.
So you could even with these two, if you wanted to, if you had bilateral back pain, for instance, you could put, one of your on one side, one on the other at the same time. If there's really, intense pain, you could put one right in the middle if you wanted to, and that would sort of get a work on each side, and you put one on one side, but more one on the other. Kidney pain or something on that,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a lot of pain, that will radiate out, to different areas of the body, and so you want to be able to, knee pain, for instance, some other pain, for the arthritic pain. This is not the cream is what we recommend more for certain areas where the geometry doesn't work with the patches. So the patches really are meant for certain areas where the geometry, works as you spread it out, in the body.
And we have one more patch that's coming out next. It's
CBDA, 1-to-1 CBD CBDA.
yeah, and there's been tons of research on that. We can speak on that with menstrual cramps for women and
Yeah,
used in the US for quite a few years now.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things with relation to the acidic cannabinoids that is emerging. It's been there in the scientific literature, but particularly, the plant cannabinoids exist in the plant all in the acidic form, or mostly in the acidic form. And once they're decarboxylated and they go to the active form that we know of, those are what we think about with THC and CBD. But THCA and CBDA are different molecules and work through different signaling pathways. And so those are important in and of themselves for treating inflammation in particular, let's say. And so these 1-to-1 CBD, CBDA patches, similar to things I've seen in the market with THC, THCA patches 1-to-1, very good for women, for particularly feminine health, for treating menstrual cramps and certain stuff during time of the month issues. and being able to really treat at the beginning and end, sort of dealing with stuff with the menstruation, so and cramps, and it
Just one for each ovary.
you could, exactly. That would be the idea. And so,
Okay.
yeah. And that's sort of, and we're talking about that, particularly with feminine health, but it also, it's sort of that sort of muscle cramping and other sort of issues is similar to any muscle that you would have. So we were saying it for feminine health, but it can be used for men, and can be used for men. I've done a lot of work with, separately with one of the groups that are working in Oregon. That's one of our partners with boxers and fighters in Miami. I'm a part-time boxing trainer at a gym, Fifth Street Gym, the Muhammad Ali box dad, and stuff with bare knuckle fighters, and see tremendous relief from CBDA for topical stuff with inflammation. So just CBD and CBDA and topical cream, in different patch formations.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, you guys have some other products on the market. Do you carry them in your shop too? Have you?
You know what? I have we carry the massage oil that we just got in, actually.
Nice.
So that's been really interesting to see. And honestly, I'm really happy to see the health world open up.
Yeah.
And I think having this
Absolutely.
knowledge, especially from someone like you, is very important. So thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
On the topic of menstrual cramps and all of that, like you have the transdermal patches that are great for that. Would you guys ever be interested in like making a CBD
We were
suppository?
just talking about that the other day, actually. Yes.
Yeah, we've been talking about it.
Oh, because suppositories have saved my life.
Yeah.
There's a couple in the market.
They have. I know, honestly, it's just so freaking
It's
nice.
different. It's the administration is just
Well, it's very fast route of administration.
Yeah.
stop review, right?
Yeah, very fast acting route of administration. And the thing is, with different routes of administration, what you're really looking at is, right, with anything that we're talking about in dosage, then you have your bioavailability factor for the route of administration. You have to apply to different things and different your bioavailability. So that particular route of administration is very fast bioavailability. So it allows for different formulations and sort of time scales that can be used or for different purposes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does definitely feels very instant, which is kind of why I think
that's the idea.
Sometimes it's that the first couple days.
Yeah.
So I think this is really interesting, and honestly, I can't wait for these to come on our show.
There's just we've seen in the U.S. there's a lot more CBD products. There's here we have a few topicals. Like for natural, we also do high-end skincare, CBD skincare, but we're not quite there yet. Hopefully, these new rules that Health Canada has been talking about, opening up the CBD, and that's very interesting to us.
Yeah.
And I think one of the important things to mention about that too is while there is, yes, a lot of CBD products in the US, there isn't the same level of regulation that has really Health Canada has applied to it. And I think I have to, really applaud them in terms of that and their ability to really go through what is dosage regulations and everything the right way, and being able to structure things so that you can have an emerging market. So as we get a sort of blend of these two, I think emerging will get really good high quality products with good testing for the patients, which I think is most important, that we really need to understand and should be transparent. And I think also source material is important. And as we're going through different types, like you're using isolate versus broad spectrum, it's some of this, and this advertising gets back to what you talked to before. But I think as we discuss things in terms of broad spectrum distillate, isolate, situations, that transparency should be there, because that makes a difference. And it makes a difference on us in terms of the cost of the input material, because we're trying to source the best quality material. And as you're going to talk about this with minor cannabinoid and even terpenes there, that's what we're really looking for, to get a holistic entourage, physiological effect, for the benefit of the patient,
Yeah.
A lot of these terpenes that we use in there, for instance, as we were talking about ingredients, we have lavender oil and peppermint oil in there. So both of those,
Julie loves lavender.
Amazing, and linalool, lavender, everyone knows about the calming effect of that.
Yeah.
People may or may not also know linalool and lungs terpenes are very good skin penetrators. So that's why they're used in a lot of the cosmetic industry in general, and a lot of things in that area. So now when you combine that with terpenes, you can really get this nice penetration effect, but also physiological effects of those, Peppermint oil is a cooling effect on the skin. You know,
Yeah.
that's really, really pleasant. You know,
Yeah. I'd say like over a decade ago, I went through about a year-long program. I'm a spa technician. I specialized in skin. So it was always really fun creating those products, doing that aromatherapy portion of it, and realizing like that is essentially the same thing as the whole terpene kind of profiling
Absolutely.
that we do.
100%.
And I think internally we all kind of know it's there and what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And to be able to sort of resonate that with the consumers and, what is it? What's a candle when you smell it makes you feel calm versus, like a really kind of spicy or citrusy candle. Like it's the same kind of idea when it goes to
Yep.
cannabis terpenes, same thing when it goes to your aromatherapy products is like, even if you took the weed out, there's still the benefits there. It's still a quality product. And I think that was really a missed mark when we first started bringing topicals to the market. I don't even remember the
Very true.
brands that first came out. I know they're not around anymore, but I just remember feeling the viscosity, smelling it, trying just being like, nope, we're not there yet. This is not what I'm signed up for.
I think that's why you should natural Rem products in terms of quality.
Yeah.
All natural, transdermal, everything we put in there is high quality product, right? So
Have you tried any of their face care? I loved it. When you gave last International Women's Day, you were hooking everybody up with skin.
Yes, I do.
You walked away with the roll on, right?
Yes,
So you tried the quality of skincare. It's not greasy.
Yes,
water-based.
I will be completely honest with you guys. I'm very interested in this world because I don't have enough information about it. So,
Right.
but I do find it very interesting. And I do remember when I was opening up Avenue, it was such a shop that was big in topicals and skincare, and the
That's
lack
it.
of knowledge was
It is still that way right now.
Yeah.
I think we're only 5 years of legalization.
what would you
Yeah, topical section is super small too. Right? So
it's very interesting. Like, what would you say? Like, it must be interesting for you coming from America, where it seems like it's such a big market there, versus then when you come here, it's just very limited.
It's a big market, but it's a wild west sort of too, like it's not, and I think that's part of the thing is while there's a lot out there, people don't like, I think it, can give it a bad name with the oversaturation and sort of the under quality assurance that I think needs to be there a little bit more in terms of just the testing, under the regulations that exist right now under USDA and stuff. I think it just needs, and they're stepping it up, and it needs to just be done with this scientific knowledge that we have and can be structured the right way to the benefit of all. It's just high level, elevation of it. But that being said, I think what we can do is just talk about, educate the public, and same with education of doctors. So a lot of work I do is with education of doctors in Puerto Rico and other places around the world, and I focus on stuff with the endocannabinoid system and understanding that we have an endocannabinoid system in our skin that is important for wound healing, for instance. And we should mention while we're here, these patches are meant for only, covered areas, no open wound areas or things.
Yeah.
This is not like a Band-Aid. It's not meant for this types of situations, But that being said, wound healing is one of those areas. So endocannabinoid system is in a continual, regulation of the balance, the homeostasis of your skin and your health of your skin. And the skin is our largest organ in our body. People don't know this. It's and so really understanding how that and the penetration or that and keeping the health of that is really important for your overall health.
Yeah, that's fair. Interesting. How do you feel when it comes to the regulations here? And do you think like we should be selling these kind of products at pharmacies and Walmarts and just normalizing at least the topical side or CBD? Like,
yeah, I think there's some of you can talk to that, but that's some of the things that just sort of have
absolutely. Yeah. It's taking some time, and it's probably going to take another year or two, but absolutely. I think those products should be in pharmacies. It should be, I think all CBD products, they're not psychoactive.
is that the long-term goal to be able to normalize that with natural Rem as well?
We want to be able to bring all the, we have a spa line, we have a pet line, we have a wellness line. We have over 40 SKUs, but people are not going into dispensaries to buy high-end skincare.
Yeah.
Right. So in the US, there is, for example, CBD massages in every city. Right. Over here, there's health benefits to CBD massages, but the regulations don't allow them to do that. Right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be, I think that's going to be huge. Be able to, supply this CBD products to the pharmacies.
Mhm.
Out there. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see how the new regulations played out, but it should be really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having these products in the right environment, I think, is going to be crucial. Julie, from your perspective, working in these stores and having like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of SKUs coming through, is topicals something you actually realistically think you should be selling in the retail space, or do you think this needs to be in spas and stuff? Like, how has it been like trying to push?
I mean,
topicals?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have personally always thought the stuff like this should be in like a pharmacy and spas because I sell weed.
It's not a
And
rec-
I
it's not a
know, and
recreational
I
thing.
know, yes, and I know the basic information about topicals, but I just think with something like this, especially when we're using it towards like a medicinal side, it should be,
Wellness, or-
yeah, my apologies, wellness.
Oh, medical and wellness.
No, wellness. I think this needs to be directed from someone that has a little bit more knowledge and more of a background for it.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to downplay my smarts or anything,
No,
but
no,
I
no,
just
makes
think
sense.
when we are talking about something
And I
like
think
this,
that's what
That's the balance.
That's where
And that's the reality.
Yeah.
that's where the gap is also, right? That's why we want to, educate you guys.
no,
more
of
and
course,
more.
and I honestly really
Right.
appreciate it. And is that something you guys would be interested in, like doing like the PK sessions,
Yeah,
like product
Oh,
knowledge?
absolutely.
Because I would
absolutely.
love
That's-
to have
that's-
you at the shop.
Absolutely, I would love it anytime. Yeah, that's one of the things I enjoy doing the most is talking, at the, retail level and talking with, those people behind the counter and those people, managers of it, and educating the public and stuff, at all levels, and stuff. So it's really important.
But yeah, I think it's important that we do push for that direction because it's hard. It's hard to solve the topicals in
Yeah.
a
Oh,
in a
100%,
weed
yeah.
in a cannabis store. So.
Absolutely, that's very true. Yeah, we found the same, at definitely different areas.
Can you touch on just quickly while we have Julie here, in regards to the full spectrum compared to
Oh, yeah.
and this is a huge thing that goes on, especially with all our products. We push hard for the full spectrum.
Yeah.
Here's your
I-
PK session.
Yeah, here's
Julie.
your-
There it is, you guys.
Listen
I got the
up.
PK session for free.
And
Right, yeah. No, I think that well, listen, at the end of the day, CBD is CBD, right? So the molecule is there as an isolate, and if you experiment is really, if you had the same amount of CBD as an isolate form, and you have the same amount normalized from a broad spectrum level of that amount of CBD, but really it's all these other components that are there that, in my experience, trying different types of patches, I found and we've geared towards, the development of stuff with the full spectrum because of these other minor cannabinoids that are there that are having a role, whether it's CBG or CBC, or other ones, or whether it be on the acidic form, those formulations of them with CBD, CBDA, other things. So it's that entourage effect of signaling that you have with it, and really the fact that these are, whether it's THC or CBD, hitting different, receptor signaling pathways and sort of fine tuning the effects on pain or inflammation or skin regeneration. Regeneration in the skin is a big thing in cycles of cells there in the skin.
so how is this going to sell in a retail store right now? Like because we are so restricted and
Yeah.
how we can communicate, what's the pitch?
Very, very, very good.
Sorry, say that?
Yeah, very good.
All right, pay attention there. Nameer.
No,
Um,
it's really good.
So I don't work in stores,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I know you guys, like, you spent a lot of time in them, and Julie as well.
Yeah,
'cause
I will-
you've
I
been
will.
around for years now. Like, what is the actual pitch that bud tenders and anyone selling in the shops can use that isn't going to cross any lines?
Fair
'Cause
enough.
there's a lot of
Exactly.
regulatory here.
Yeah, no, there's, you always have to be careful that you're not making any claims. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You're not, once that's a big no-no.
Mhm.
But giving them options, I think you gotta talk about, there's edible options as well that are good for pain relief. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely claims is important.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where it becomes tough. Like you said, it goes to a pharmacy, different places. You can fail for it. It's hard to.
Yeah. No,
You're recommended, and hopefully.
the idea is this: we educate, the public, as we always do, and the doctors and everyone. We educate them in the science of it, and what goes on, what we know in terms of our knowledge of the science of it, how we formulated the product, and that this is geared towards skin health and well-being, and stuff, and how you use it, and it's that we are not making any claims towards this specifically in the relief of this or that. We're saying, hey, this is what science has told us in terms of this, and we formulated this product toward this way to this end. We do know, and stuff, furthermore, in terms of with collaborators and different things in Puerto Rico, more of the science of it as towards the pharmacokinetics and what's going on with our particular, product that we're working on. But that's more stuff in development, and it's more geared towards what would be a clinical trial development, other things like that. And so, that stuff, towards the future to talk about. The idea is that this is something that is geared towards skin health and well-being, and that is in the maintenance of the balance of your system there, and is with the education based around the stuff in this area.
Gotcha. So the people that are going to buy this probably already do know a little bit about this, like because there's not a lot of conversation that can be had then.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like I feel like this is a specific clientele because I don't know how many times I run into problems with having that limited vocabulary.
sure.
And people are like, oh, shouldn't you know? Why can't you promise me that? I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not a doctor. So I'm just trying to tell you, I'm not trying to make any claims.
Yep.
I do want to help you though.
Exactly. It's a recommendation there. It's the same. It's analogous to the fact that, listen, in the U.S., nothing is federal. There's no prescription, right? It's not similar, different to you guys, right? Here with federal. And so there's only a recommendation needed at every level, right? You mean the doctors.
Well, and that's just
It's a
it. Is like
recommendation,
it's a recommendation. So
Here's the science. Here's what we've done stuff towards this claim. Here's the recommendation.
yeah,
And not everything's going to work for everybody either, right?
that's another thing.
That's the other thing.
It's very important.
They have to try it and see if that works for them. But
Well, but I don't know. I can't begin to tell you guys how many times I say that and people get so mad. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm being real, but also my apologies. Like I
Yeah,
can't make a promise that that's
and
gonna
there's
Absolutely.
cure.
and there's personal preference to you, right? Sort of like cannabis. You might like something that your customer might not like,
Oh, it's
right?
it's
Like
really
something
hard.
you're always gonna run into, or I guess on the daily basis, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I can even see maybe people arguing like, oh, why wouldn't I have a cream, or why wouldn't I get a cream, and why would I spend this much money on
for sure.
a patch?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
What
That's where
out of curiosity, what is the plan for the retail recommendation for NBC here
I think they're gonna be probably out at about $24
for both patches?
Patches, yeah.
$12 a patch.
Okay, that's
Yeah. 24
Pain
bucks.
relief?
You get
oh,
two-
especially for 4
yeah, you get 8 days out of
or
it
8 days.
for-
My
for
apologies.
24 bucks. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there was a patch on the East Coast for a little while, and it was big into that community.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened to that brand, but there's a lot of people with reviews on these patches.
Interesting.
And we just took it a little bit next level, and more cannabinoids. Just went full spectrum.
Yeah.
These high ingredients, quality ingredients. And these are this is not a new product. This is tested already in the U.S. market.
Yeah, there have been different
Gotcha.
variations of
Yeah.
these patches
Yeah.
in the U.S. market with different groups, over time.
Yeah.
And there's different types of patches. To be clear, this is a reservoir long-lasting patch, and what this is meant to do is have a larger loading capacity that we call traditionally monolithic patches. Monolithic patches are where they're shorter acting, like 8 to 12 hours, and they're in with the cannabinoid, the actives are put in with the adhesive directly and sort of put on. It's similar to other nicotine patches, rare things that you see. And those brands have been good too. Those are meant to be more fully transdermal, and the regular patch is
And that may be the next patch, the Aurora 2.0.
Well, that's cool. And sorry, what other products do you have right now on the market? There's the
We have the-
massage oil.
Yeah, we have the massage oil.
You have a massage oil on the
Massage
market.
oil. We have a roll-on.
Okay.
Roll-on is nice for definitely applying pressure And then we have a 1-to-1 cream as well. The THC is really nice for anti-inflammatory, especially when you put in cream on their, like my mom uses it every night
Yeah.
for her hands cramp up. So that 1-to-1 cream is a way to say for something you can apply for on your hands. And like I said, the roll-on's really nice to use. It's the same formula, but the roll-on's nice where you can actually apply it with a pressure to it,
Yeah.
or as you roll it on. And the big thing is it's not greasy. There's other ones that are in the market. You smell like A535.
It's a big difference, you know.
Makes a big difference. So again, coming from a high quality skincare and marry the nutraceuticals and the best of the cannabinoids and the best nutraceuticals. Not for
Right.
products, not for everyone. It's
Yeah.
bringing both those things together.
Yeah. These would fly off the shelf in a regular spot, and that price point would be super cheap. Like in the right environment, these type of products are an
It's
easy
true.
sell.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
There's got to be a license or something created that is specifically for spas, so they can carry a locked case of these products and sell them. I think, like,
Is a things like that, like depending on, because you're
Yeah.
right. There's something to say about places in the U.S. where it's at CVS and Walgreens.
There's roll-ons in Walmart in the U.S.
yeah.
You can buy the roll-ons right in the Walmart.
No,
But in the U.S., can they make any claim on their packaging? Like, could it potentially be way less?
It's the same. It's the same. Claims are the same.
You have a clinical trial.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
claims really only come at the level of Zachary of FDA, clinical trial stuff. So you really gotta be able to go through, the clinical trials thing of phase 1 through 3.
We got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The new rules are going to be interesting.
Yeah,
And if what they're trying to say, from what I'm reading, you'll be able to buy, if you have a site license for, say, a natural health product, like right now what's been sold in this files, you'll be able to buy CBD for a legal producer that make like cannabis producer.
Yeah.
That CBD comes into your facility, and you'll be able to formulate that have those products sold. So they're not. I don't see them being behind a cabinet or anything,
Okay.
like any other natural health product,
Yeah.
right? Depending on the value, maybe the store wants to lock it up.
Yeah.
You
I
won't-
guess
you won't
that's
see-
that's my memory of spas. Like, you're selling $300 face cream. Of course, it's locked up.
Oh,
They already are prepared
Yeah,
for this
yeah.
style of product if it has to be, but put it in the hands of the professionals that have at least some schooling or just experience
For
with
sure.
these types of products, especially the
sure.
face care.
That's
That's an intimate experience for somebody who's
Really.
going to already talk about something that creates a bit of
Yeah.
insecurity.
yeah,
And you're not just talking about the product, you're talking about their diet,
yeah,
how they sleep,
yeah.
their bowel movements,
Yeah.
how often do they wash their bed sheets? Like,
Yep.
this is serious stuff
Yeah.
that I wouldn't want to go to a cannabis retail store and just talk about that
You're
in
so
a
right.
public setting.
Yeah, it's easier to go the other way around.
Yeah.
100%. It makes a lot more sense. You
Yeah.
have someone educated, in that space.
That's a
And
lot to learn
And they're not
right there
mutually
alone.
exclusive.
Right.
But you have to do it on both sides, right? So you still have the product available, but you figure out that sort of balance, because you're right, because you want professionals from that space to be able to benefit from it, and also their knowledge base, because that's where the clientele would be on,
Yeah.
So, it's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Let Julie sell her weed.
I was gonna say I can sell you some good hash rosin, but I lack a little bit of knowledge on this stuff.
Hopefully, we're looking to do a series as well of different, education, 3-minute clips, 2-minute clips, talking about each product. And for example, like you talked about transdermal, why is it transdermal? What makes it transdermal? And what is full spectrum? So we'll be putting out a few different videos for
Cool. So stores can request
Yeah,
those
you can
from you.
request that you can request it, and then they'll be very informative, and we'll try to make them short clips, not hour long. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and absolutely, I think that's the big piece, just the education piece.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But
Right now, Mr. Garrett file over here.
Yeah, you're in from Puerto Rico.
I'm in for Puerto Rico. Yeah, I
We're
live in Puerto
honored.
Rico.
All the way to Pot TV Studio, a cannabis
Yeah.
culture.
Vancouver, BC, baby.
Vancouver.
Really? What do you
Oh.
think so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, having fun. Have you ate some pretty good food, or
well, you better go to the Burger Shack.
the takeout
the
shack
takeout
for a
shack.
smash burger?
Yeah.
And you're in the.
That was a
that's
lifesaver.
a great spot too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this is such a blessing being in
Thank
such
you.
a spot,
Thank you.
especially with Garrett.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, right?
Yeah. So I have a question for you, Nameer. Like raw honesty, how's it been like getting this brand to the BC market? And are you in any of the other provinces?
No, we're not. We're not. We're in Ontario with Rouen.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's been pretty difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Especially for a product like this. You know, it's a weird thing when you first bring your product to market, and you don't have to go through all the hoops and to get to where you are at, and then you have to go to a category manager to get that central listing. So when you get a central listing, it's easier to get cannabinoids. For example, if your product's only DD, you can only buy DD.
DD meaning
Direct
direct delivery.
Yeah, you can only buy direct delivery approved cannabinoids. So, for example, it's very hard to find DD approved CBD because not many people are doing micro CBD production.
Right.
So, for example, our CBDA product
Coming up.
if Central doesn't give me a listing, I'm only allowed to get my product from a DD approved source, which there is none. Right?
Yeah.
It is it's really hard to find. So it's hard to innovate when you don't know, and I get it coming from Central, and we're in a recreational market, like you were saying. This is not a rec product.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I get it. It's not meant to get you high. That's what they're looking for is product for the recreational market. Right.
Gotcha.
So it's a tough one to,
Which we'll have coming out too.
That's what I'm saying. With
Yeah.
this change, and we can actually do these products to a greater audience, and it's going to be a game changer. But yeah, so it's taken some time. We've been at this for quite a few years. Yeah, just happy to be here and excited to bring some wicked products.
Yeah, we have some other.
We got some
projects coming.
Well,
down
we'll
the
try
line,
anything you throw our way.
Yeah, I was
we're
gonna
gonna-
say,
we're gonna have some cool stuff.
We'll patch you guys up.
Oh, okay.
And we're gonna
We're gonna have some other like really cool like systemic products besides like the patches and other stuff. We'll have some other stuff.
there's a lot of cool
A
stuff.
lot of cool stuff down the pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly
We'll
just
try
want to
it.
keep talking about the patches.
Yeah.
It's just very, no, honestly, you guys, I have such a bad shoulder in this
Yeah.
one spot. So, like, learning about this today has been.
So I have a funny story when I first introduced to patch. We're in Las Vegas. We went for the NJVIS conference. This was about 6-7 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
And then my wife Heather flew down, and she met me right after the conference, and we're gonna hang out and do our thing. And there's tons of walking to do in Las Vegas. There's just constant walking. And she's got really bad knees, and she gets off the plane, and she's in tears. Like, oh my God! I'm like, I just got here. I was here all weekend. I can't even go anywhere. So I get talking to Garrett, and Garrett and I just met recently. A few years back there. And Garrett's like, oh no, I got you covered. And then he basically patched her up, or gave her a couple of patches, one on each leg. Within 45 minutes, she went from crying to like running, literally running. Like she was, So anyway, she's been bugging me since that time. She's like, you have to get these patches. This has a lot to do with her because she's been pushing me in the back to get these patches. That's what gave her relief. She went from literally not being able to walk, and she was cruising all the whole weekend, right?
Yeah, and that was with a group that I'd work connected with before. Was the group I was working with in Puerto Rico was the licensee of this group, and they had a great patch to the market, but it was more like the experience of that, the patches of people. People don't really realize it till they get a chance to really feel it. And really believe it. Then it's like once they do, then it's that sort of a game changing moment in their mind, and they can treat their pain in some way, in aspects of their pain in combination with other ways to escape systemically. And that's what's the nice thing about it. You can be patched up and still be smoking, still be dabbing, still be taking edibles, still be having other things, and have it not be mutually exclusive. But then you can also be in relief of your pain throughout your day. If you're sitting at your desk, if you feel back pain, lower back pain, if you're standing, if you're walking, whatever, you can have different ways to treat that pain in sort of constant, chronic manner.
And then, like a lot of products in the market that people are used to using are pharmaceutical products that have all other side effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is, it's good to be able to bring this out.
Yeah, and pads is out there. People are aware of them when it's like a capsaicin patch, or you see bioavailability and stuff for lidocaine. So
Yeah, I'll just add, we're getting to back to the retail store. Once you get a customer that comes in there and that helps them with their pain relief, that's a huge gift. You know what I mean? That, people are struggling to be able to give them as option, and they come back, and, the other side of that is they become your customer, right?
You know what?
And you
Yes.
help them. And when you're struggling through pain all day long and to be able to have some relief, it's huge, right? A lot of us smoke cannabis for that reason. Right?
Oh, I absolutely love that. Honestly, that's kind of why I stayed around in this market. Like, I think what really interested me in the pre-legalization was just the community and building that
Absolutely.
relationship with people. And I actually had a moment like that at where I work right now. It was a lady I know. She lives up in the apartment buildings above our store. And she's always walking around, and I can always see her kind of, struggling to walk. And I'm always saying hey and all that. We finally actually got talking, and I finally got her to come into the store. And she started taking this CBD oil. And honestly, she raves about me to my boss.
Nice.
She full on was like, I come in here now because of Julie. And she took that it was a slow night, but I took like 45 minutes of just sitting there with her. We have a very limited selection, but at least made me feel good again. It made me feel like I was back in the day, being able to express myself, the best way I could with the limited vocabulary. But like, it made me feel good again. So that is definitely something that I think really shines in my highlights for the retail.
And even us with having our products, we have so many people that call us and message us on Instagram. Oh my God, this product changed my life. What a lifesaver. And it's that we love hearing that.
No, it's I love hearing it too. Like, as much as I do love selling weed and selling dabs and all of that and getting everybody high, it does feel really good when I take the time out of my day and explain this, like, CBD and all of that to people, and they come back and really appreciate it. So it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I've been paying attention these 10 years.
That's right.
But no, it's beautiful. So, I'm excited to see more from you guys.
Absolutely.
Is there somewhere that we can go, consumers can go to learn more about your products, or just using topicals, and like what cannabinoids or milligrams are they looking for? What is there such a thing as too much topicals? Like, where do we learn? Because I know that at the store level,
we have
stickers, see what happens.
we can go on our website, naturalcanada.com.
Okay.
Or naturalrem.com as well. There's some information there, and we're looking to, like I was saying earlier, is try to put out more information, and we'll break it down.
Create that education with
exactly.
Because it's a whole other modality, and we have to really educate a lot of the public, because we're aware of it in different levels, and understanding sort of this continuum that exists in our skin through to our bloodstream, and how you can use that in ways to be non-psychoactive and be psychoactive if you want to be, and sort of be able to play with that continuum and really focus on it as a complementary, medical approach, combining plant medicine with cannabinoids in a localized manner.
Garrett, I had one thing to add. So that THC CBD, if you say work at a place and you don't want THC detected in your blood, will this THC patch potentially detect that THC in their blood?
Yeah. It will be a small amount that will be there over time. So while it won't penetrate to the blood over time, it will go into the blood in a slow amount that won't cross over the blood-brain, but will go through first pass metabolism and be excreted, after it's turned into metabolite. So it doesn't go through first pass metabolism initially, it goes through and gets excreted out, and it go through that. So there will be a small amount there. It's at the level that, for detection purposes, it will be but we have to look into this.
That's why the optional CBD. Then there's a lot of people that don't want to touch THC for many reasons, their own reasons.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that CBD patch.
Well, if their job's on the line, I can
Exactly,
understand that, but they
exactly.
still need things. If anything, they like people who work in construction and,
Oh, yeah.
and trades and
Yeah.
stuff need this the
We have a
most.
lot of truck drivers that use a lot of our roll-ups on the road for hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're pretty much getting to the end of our episode here. Is there anything that you guys want to share before we wrap this up today?
I just want to say thanks for having us. This is super
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
No,
so
I
much.
want to
So,
thank you for
hopefully
your.
this expert's over here.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
just feel really blessed to be in your presence and to be able to ask you these questions.
appreciate
Yeah, you guys are true pioneers,
Yes.
so it's kind of been an honor. I've even learned a thing or two.
Oh,
and
I honestly, I just spent this whole
It's
time
exciting.
learning, you guys. So you're welcome.
Yeah, I thought I knew everything about skin, but here we are. Just now we're in the cannabis space, and my favorite industries are merging. This
I was
is
gonna
exciting.
say, you know what? I downplay that. I feel very blessed to be here with all three of you. You guys are all very, very smart in what you do, and you come from skincare. You're a neuroscientist.
Neuroscience.
I'm from
Yeah.
Cranbrook. I sell weed.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
and you know
That's
what? Yeah, sure. Maybe we're awesome. I think we're pretty awesome guys.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah,
Julie,
absolutely.
none of this matters if you're not able to share your experiences at the retail level. Like, what does it
Exactly.
matter
That's right,
who we
that's
are
right,
and what we're
that's
doing?
right.
If
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
product doesn't move.
Self-led
So
education,
it
yeah.
takes a village, baby.
Well, I think that's yeah. Thank you again.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's a wrap today, though, on this session. A roll with it.
That's right. You guys make sure you subscribe, follow us, message us, come down to Cannabis Culture Amsterdam Cafe. We're chilling here all the time. Thank you so much for watching and your support, and we're excited to see you next time.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Okay.
Stay
Thank you.
chill,
Thank
stay
you.
lifted, and let's roll with it, baby.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks,
All
you
right.
guys.
Thank
That
you.
was great.
Oh my God, these are.
Well, that works.
That was awesome.
Yo,
I learned
okay,
a lot.
straight up.
First
I
time
actually love 8535 small. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't want to say it